this picture, a horse and a man, and the question, what happened with the horse? Everybody knew what happened with Friedrich Nietzsche, but we don't know what happened with the horse. And time to time, we were talking about this question, but we did not think really to do a movie. And it was, I think, tomorrow, we will screen, or after tomorrow, The Man from London.
The second of that week.
Okay, after tomorrow, we will see The Man from London, what we did, and during of the shooting, we had to interrupt in the shooting because our French producer committed suicide, and the French banks stopped the financing, and we were really fucked up. And that was the point when Lasso and me, we turned back to this question, what happened with the horse? And by the end, we were working mostly at the late evenings, and one evening, we had a big fight. We did not agree about anything. And he was upset. He left from my office, and the next day he came back, and he was putting down a text, which it was because we were talking about this anti-Genesis story, believing, and some other issues, which it wasn't so important. But the main issue, it was, it was a long, long time when we understand or understood what about this question. And when you have an immediate answer, maybe you can be fake or you can be wrong. It takes time. You have to give time to grow it up, to think or understand what you really want to say. And that's also, if you want to know how was the genesis of this stuff. And when you were absolutely all crew knew this is our last turn. Everybody knew. And we knew because I said yesterday film by film, you are building a film language, which is yours. But this film language, it was following or came from what you really want to share with the people, what you really want to say to the people. And it goes step by step, and of course, by the end, when you have a feeling, your language is completed, it's done, ready, packed. You can take it or leave it, but and afterwards, it will be really. I don't want to do a second-hand releasing. Never.
When you last film, did that, I guess I'm curious what the mood was in terms of actually shooting this film. Was there a sense of sadness in the end, or did it change sort of the environment of actually shooting this film because everybody knew this was going to be the last one they would all be working on together with you?
I didn't think about it. Sorry to that. We just wanted to. You know what about this movie? You are doing the all. Not you, me too. We are doing our daily life. Let's say sometimes daily monotony. The same things today. Waking up, going to do something, making money, try to survive the day. And you know, that's our life. And but I have to tell you, and you have a feeling you are the same, but you are not, because day by day you became weaker and weaker, and you have less strength, and slowly you were changing. Now you can see I'm much older, and I'm, let's say, limited by a lot of things. And of course, I'm not same like how I was when I was 25. And it's clear we are going to the end. Just the question is, do you know what are you doing and how you use this short time what you have? And somehow, you know, sometimes somebody said, I'm pessimistic or something like that. I have to ask back, how do you feel? Do you feel weaker or stronger? If you feel weaker, I can say sorry. If you feel stronger, in this case, you make me happy. That's all.
Because I have to say, out of this film feeling devastated, but also just, touched by the experience of what you sort of put on the screen. And I'm curious for you, have you watched this film yourself recently? Does it change for you over time? As you say, we all get weaker as we get older. Watching it 5-10 years later, does the movie's meaning change for you?
You have to know, when I finish something, it's finished. And I never give out if I'm not 100% sure. No compromise, such a stupid question. Because, you know, all, it's the same question if you ask a father who has some kids and they are asking the father, who is your favorite? Fuck. It's such a question. It's someone has, let's say, a little bit bigger nose, or bigger ear, or bigger head, but they are mine. And they are showing how I am, how I was. Of course, it's, you never believe you are perfect, even if everybody says about me I'm perfectionist, which is somehow true, but for poor actors, poor crew members, yes, somehow I'm capable to be very cruel or hard or pushing them, but it doesn't mean I don't love them, because you cannot do any movie without love. If you don't love the people, in this case, why are you doing? Because I want to share it. You know what is the filmmaking? You are doing your life, I told yesterday, and you are picking up a lot of things. Meet, you have a lot of impressions, and you meet with thousand things, and then somehow something, maybe just a small water, it's moving you, touching you, and you start to think, inspiring you, and then you are transforming everything, and then the way of the filming will find you immediately, and then easy. You just do it and share it with you. It's simple, really very simple procedure, but you have to open your eyes, and what I'm telling all the time for the young filmmakers, please don't learn or study the filmmaking. You have to understand, learn and study the life and the human relations, and when you know, you will be ready for a movie. But if you are studying, you know, this kind of structure of the film industry, or you are just training yourself to be part of the system, in this case, it's gone.
Both of your lead actors were the performances that you needed in this film.
First of all, the casting, I've never cast actors. I'm casting personalities. Doesn't matter if somebody professional actor like Tilda Swinton or Hanna Shikula or some others. Doesn't matter. I'm haunting their personality and how they are as a human being. And if I'm creating good situations, human, normal situation, what could happen with you, for all of us, me too. You know, in this case, the most interesting things how they are being in this situation. They cannot play if they are playing, it's boring, empty shit. But if I see their presence on their eyes, in this case, half of your movie is done. Now it's afterwards you will have chance to think about the camera movements, reading, and the whole stuff. But first of all, you have to have empathy to see who is who. And if you understand, in this case, you won. This is my opinion. I know it's surreal to say this in LA, and which is the capital of the film business, but this is what I think. And it's, no, it's not. And to work with them afterwards very easy. And you have to trust them, they have to trust me. Because they became naked from the camera. Not physically. You can see who are they. And this is a kind of responsibility. This is a moral question. You have to treat them. Of course, you are a dirty fucking man because you are stealing their real reactions. But if they trust you, and if they don't feel you cheat them or wrecked them, or in this case it's fluid.
I'm curious because the two of you work together so often. Did you sort of explain to him what you wanted, or does he look at the film and then bring you a piece that he's worked on? How does that actually work?
Well, the film is very complex shit because we were talking about. We did not talk about one of the key questions. I never do script. I have just some small cards, one sentence, let's say, Janusz, because this is his name, private name, goes home. Coach. That's the first scene. What can I write more? Because he goes. And we cannot write more because how can I explain the camera movements, the rib, and the face of the horse, and the dust, and behind them this very small sound. How can I explain? What can I write? It's really stupid things to talk about. Okay. The next issue is the casting we already touched. The third issue, which is very important, the location. Because the location has a face. One of the main characters, it has a meaning. Plus, when you are moving in the space with the camera, you can see more. You can feel it, the real structure, and it shows you a lot of things. And of course, the music is also one of the main characters. And for example, me, I like when he does the music before the shooting, because I like to use, first of all, I have to know one of my main characters, which is the music. And I like to use during of the shooting, because in this case helps for the camera movements, for the dolly movements and everything. This is why I like when he goes before the shooting to the studio. Afterwards we are sitting together, we are hearing everything what he recorded, and then we will choose what we will use. That's very simple.
Last night you had mentioned,
The question of this trust, because it's inspiring you. Maybe you will see something what the other guy haven't seen, or doesn't, because if I tell to you as a kind of set designer, you need this, you will go and you will hunting and you try to fulfill my wish. But maybe if I go, I will take it much easy, and I just, I see the whole picture, and maybe I can use this, even if I don't tell to my props guy, I need this. Maybe inspiring me, and we can create a scene around this. You never know, but because it's totally different when you have an open mind and you are seeing everything globally.
because my understanding is, so it was finding the location and then building the house. Did you have sort of an idea what you wanted the interior to look like?
Yeah, by the end I did not find the real house, but I found in this valley with this tree, this olive tree. That's also, inspired me. And then we decided, okay, no any other chance, we have to build up this house. But, I hate the fake things, and it means I found old builders in a countryside, in a village, and they built a real stone and wood house. Everything was real, but of course I knew we had to have differences on the back side and the front side of the building, because I wanted to take in this take when she goes down for the bubbles and taking the spirit to go up, and we have to move it. And I knew what I want to see, and it looks like a studio, but we had no heating, we had only electricity for the lighting, and it was, let's say, not a proper studio, but everything what happened, it was planned. Because I like it. I knew from the first frame till the last frame what I want to show. That's it.
You mentioned a little bit, but also just the quantity of the wind in this. In terms of Is that just simple sound of wind? Was that treated in any way? Because it's so intense throughout the movie, I was so curious.
Don't be curious because we go to the sound studio and we had a lot of Foley's that we were using. It's a question of the sound mix. But you know, this is the end when you are doing post-production, finally collecting the dates, using the sound, doing the final grades, showing in the cinema. That's this kind of usual classical way of filmmaking. You cannot do differently.
If there are questions, it's just about movement and travel in Béla's films.
We did not touch this question about the time. Our life is happening in space and the time, even if we don't want it. But sure. And you know, most of the films are ignoring the time because they say it's boring. And action car, you know, they know better here in the studios than me. And you know, that's, let's say, which is when I was thinking seriously about this question, I understand, you know, I have to show the same movement, the space and the time. And when you ask me this, what this means, that means, you know, space, time, human beings, and where are we? That's all. I was talking about until now. I'm sorry. I said 100,000. If you Google, you can find it. I don't believe about any kind of storytelling, but I hunting now who, what is means human being, and why are we reacting for this on that way, or why? You know, it's your question is. I don't think we don't have answer. You know, because question is how are we doing our life? And but I spent almost 40 years to try to find an answer for your question, but now I gave up.
Yes, right there.
Oh, I love it. Okay, now question which is serious. When I mentioned the casting is based on the personality, not about the character. When I said, I think yesterday, you know, if I have a movie, and as I see I have an actor or person who will help me to make this movie, and I have character for the movie, and if we have some differences, I changing the character, and I will changing the story, and I will changing the situation, because I know he or she will be the best if he can be, you know, because the character looks like a goat. If you are tiny and you have a big coat, you will be ridiculous. But if you are a fat big guy, the coat what I want to push on you, it's small, it will be ridiculous too. What? The biggest example, it was our horse. Her name was Richie. And I found it her East Hungary, very close to the Romanian border, in an ugly, sad animal market. And a guy wanted to sell it because this horse does not want to work. And she really didn't. And that's her personality inspired me, and we had to respect. That's, and of course, you love every being, doesn't matter, human being, animal being, or just something on the field. You know, the grass, flowers, and everything. You have to respect the life. And we took care after the shooting. We found it a place for her when she was calm. But at the end she became pregnant, and the life is continuing.
Questions about the movie Lamb from a few years ago that Béla was an executive producer on.
Valdis, man, honestly, Valdi was my student in Sarajevo, and they were using my name, and of course they can, and it's not a question. And the second is I saw it, the rough guard with some Russians, and I was connected with him, and but I did not go for the premiere to Cannes. I liked him, I liked his movie, and I think it was a big effort for him, not for me, because I was sitting at home and I was just worship. That's what we're talking about. What I think about this. But you know, I'm doing sometimes something for young people if I can protect them, and I believe them, it's important. In this case, why not? Man, can you say a little bit louder? Because I'm not deaf yet, but you are very low.
I was wondering what your relationship, your directing relationship was like with your wife in this film. Did you tend to agree on how most scenes should proceed, or were there certain scenes where you disagreed and had to come to a compromise?
Man, in my case, no compromise, never. Anyone. Really, definitely. Plus, she is an editor who was in the set. She was, you know, because we are doing long takes. One scene is one take. And you cannot do anything on the editing table. It means she was in the set and she was watching everything on the monitor and she was checking reading and she knew the connections between the scenes and how they fit together, how they can be fluent, and that's all.
Béla, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's been a real pleasure.